Good day everyone. Good day sir. My name is Miko Abranica. So for today, I am going to report the private self or report only the definition of the private self. So let's start first from the objective. So this is the objective. Listeners will hopefully be able to define the private self. Private self. According to Moore in year 1984, the Greek word for private self is idios, and it means one's own or pertaining to oneself. Private self is the part of the self that is known mainly to oneself, such as one's inner feelings and self-concept, or the part of a person's self-awareness known only to themselves. The private self is the only one aware of the true feelings and self-worth. So, in my understanding about the private self is the private self is only you knows that a certain aspect of yourself.
Good day everyone, I am Colonel Esna and today we talk about private self significance to the self. But first, let me tell you the objectives. Able to understand the importance of private self, know the advantages, you will know some of examples of private self. Why is private self is important? Private self-consciousness is associated with better access to self-knowledge and a greater interest in self-knowledge, regardless of whether what knowledge is positive. As a result, the self-knowledge of people high private consciousness plays more prominent role in their behavior. What are the importance of private self? The importance of private self is they help understand that they help us understand that what are thinking and feeling, how we're seeing themselves might not always be the way other people see them. For example, seeing your face in the mirror is a type of private self-awareness. Feeling your stomach lurch when you realize you forgot to study for an important test, or feeling your heart flutter when you see someone you are attracted to, are also example of private self-awareness. And that's all. And thank you.
Hi sir, hi cadets. My name is Charles Angelo Giaganan and I am here to discuss private self, and my learning objectives is all about private self and similarities to public digital self. So, what is private self-consciousness? So, it is a self-awareness to the self as it is viewed by others, and this kind of self-consciousness can result in self-monitoring and social anxiety. Example of private self-awareness is when you see the one that you are attracted is you feel your heart flutter and give you a butterfly stomach. So it can feel you anxiety because you see the one that your ideal, and it can boost your feelings. So next is behaviors and perspective thinking. So the private self is to indicate two personality characteristic. So in self having to do with habitual attention to behavioral tendencies, to emotions, and to motivations. Private self-consciousness scale were predictive of reported self-disclosure and self-disclosure, and was predictive of satisfaction in the relationship. And the personal of private self is where as private self-consciousness seems only remotely related to guilt proneness, public self, and consciousness and social anxiety appear to be closely associated with the likelihood of or feeling shame or embarrassment. So the personality of private self is not kind of feeling of introvert, but when they are going they are outgoing somewhere, they are all alone and privately, and they can feel anxiety or embarrassment. That's my example. And that's all about my topic. Thank you for listening.
So hi guys, my name is Michael Franz Ardua, and today I'm gonna discuss the definition of public self or the public digital self. So my objective is for you guys to learn the public digital self or know the real meaning of the public digital self. So the digital self is the persona you use when you're online. The simple reason is that once you go online as your real self, using your own name or appearance, you have an online presence that can be traced back to you in the real world. The internet has fundamentally altered clinicians' as public self and facilitated its wide dissemination. An online psychology dictionary defined it as the view of oneself by others as conveyed through public information, public action, and interactions with others. So that's the definition of the public self. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. Our topic is all about private self and public digital self. So, in order for you to understand deeply, let's have a background information of these two major topics. In specific, private self is the part of the self that is known mainly to oneself, such as one's inner feelings and self concept. It may be similar to or different from the public self one reveals to others. See also social identity. While public digital self is the persona you are used when you're online. Some people maintain one or more identities that are distinct from their real world selves. Others have single online self that is aware or less than some as the one they habit in the real world.
So, good day everyone. My name is Charles Canby Calao, and today we're going to be talking about the similarities and differences of the private self as well as the public digital self. So, our objective today is to be able to differentiate the similarities and differences of the private self and the public digital self. So, for the differences of the public digital self, I have identified here four of them. And the first one is the personality and behavior reveal, online disembodiment, online disinhibition, and digital identity. So, when we talk about the personality and behavior reveal, um, this talks about you as an individual having the public digital self. You are less likely to reveal your personality and behavior to the persons which are less close to you. This has something to do with people feeling more comfortable with the people that they are associating with daily. So an example of this is being more like yourself when you are with your close friends, your best friends, and being a serious and more professional person when you are in your workplace. So next we have online disembodiment. So since we are taking social interactions on online platforms, there is no need for a face-to-face approach. And with this, people are less likely to display their real selves on the internet. Then we have online disinhibition. Given the idea that people can hide behind their screens, they sometimes adopt an identity that is not theirs. The digital world gives them a sense of calm, knowing that nothing will happen to them behind the screen. So they sometimes engage in activities that they would rather not do in real life. Lastly, we have digital identity. So people like creating an image for themselves or an identity online. This sometimes leads them to changing the things that they normally do, and this alters their authentic self. So by doing this, people can fill in the identity that they desire and be a completely different person in real life.
Hi guys, this is my similarities about private self and public digital self. So, responsible behavior first is the sense of behavior that it still keep on both side. The only time that it will vary is when the attitude of an individual is does not or rather does not match with their identity. For example, the private self of an individual is an outgoing and happy-go-lucky type of person. He or she is more likely to attend occasions with friends and neglect hers or her responsibilities in life. So that time she or he can feel anxiety or with emotions. Next is sense of care. So despite differences in terms of showing emotions with digital public self, there is still a sense of care that two identities share. This pertains to the natural aspect of a man having a heart and empathy towards other people. That's all about my similarities. Next is Charles Calao, another similarities. Thank you.
Communication is constant. No matter what identity you may portray, communication will always remain constant. It is something that we must hold on to as individuals so that we can create a sense of social interaction with other people. Lastly, we have It's Still Me. The identities that I get to portray have no effect with regards to the person that I am. These identities are simply an extension of who I am, and they only differ in terms of the environment that I am currently in. But deep inside, it's still me and no other person. So that is all for my report. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you have learned something new today. Thank you and goodbye.